All right. Hello there, Acres of Diamonds community. My name is DJ Ligori, and I'm here with co-founder Scott Gibbs. And this is Daily Diamond number 42, where we are discussing a little vision of what Scott and I have for Acres of Diamonds moving forward. And on Tuesday, we released the video where I kind of gave my personal vision of what I thought Acres of Diamonds could become and will become, to keep our positivity there. And then I also described a little exercise that Scott kind of challenged me to do of drawing the ultimate goal of what Acres of Diamonds could become with the Acres of Diamonds complex, which is really kind of a libraries and weight rooms area. For those of you who've been following that saying, an opportunity to get better both physically and mentally, and simply put, a place to be better than you were yesterday. So that was what we discussed on Tuesday. And over the past couple of weeks, Scott and I we've been narrowing down our market niche and who would really be interested in the type of Acres of Diamonds content that we produce and the Acres of Diamonds program. And today, Scott is going to give a little background as to what we have found and what we're going to kind of go after as we start to move Acres of Diamonds forward. So Scott, what are we thinking here?
Well, I've been observing the young people now for quite a while, and I think there's a couple attributes about them that are really interesting and misunderstood by the older generation. Actually, young, let's say late teens, mid to late teens, and into your 20s. That group of people is the first group of people that's really been raised in the smartphone era,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of comments from the older generations that generation is soft and snowflakes this, or just derogatory comments about that generation. And I've been doing the research, and basically I've talked to older people, and if I talk to people of my parents' age, they're not as tough as their parents. And if I'm honest, I'm not as tough as my parents. And if my kids are honest, they're probably not as tough as their parents, right? That's what technology does. Technology makes life easier for people. Mm-hmm. So I think the fact that one generation isn't as tough as the next or as the previous generation, that's exactly what happens, right? Technology does that. The other thing I think that is a real nuance for this younger generation is they have been brought up in the smartphone age, and there's a lot of things going on with the 24/7, 365 mental McDonald's that these young people are being exposed to that their parents and grandparents have no clue about, right? They're hearing bad news all the time. It used to be we just heard bad news for half an hour on the news if we had ABC, CBS, or NBC on, right? Now they can hear it anytime, anywhere, all the time. It's just a different world. They can be bullied 24/7, 365, right? So there's a lot. I'm just seeing if you start studying stress, anxiety, depression, suicide rates, they're all going through the roof. So this generation, I think I'm watching, and I think that's where we're going to focus our efforts, because the older generation doesn't understand their challenges, and they're looking around for support. The other thing about the younger generation, they will save America. They are so open-minded about gender, about race, about wealth. They don't have the same stereotypes, the same preconceived notions about groups different than them that my generation does, or my parents' generation, or my grandparents' generation does. They're just such a much more open-minded group. And I think what we need to do is we need to give them the strength to lean into their greatness, right? So I think, to your point, I think that's our niche.
Yep.
At least that's going to be our first niche, right? That's going to be the first niche that we'll talk about. And we've been messing around with some messaging the last week or so, and here's what it sounds like. And I'm going to read it because it doesn't flow off the top of my tongue quite yet, but. So what we found is that most high-performing college students and early career adults know inherently that they have greatness within themselves, and they have the potential to create positive change in the world. At the same time, they feel stuck. They're experiencing too much stress, anxiety, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. regarding their future. The uncertainty of their future has become the greatest source of stress in their life. They want to make an impact on the world because they know they can. They want to work when they want, where they want, and with people they care about. But most of them feel stuck and unsure about what steps to take that will move them forward. The mistake they make is to believe that this is normal because all their friends are feeling the same way. When in reality, they only need to do three things. Number one is believe in themselves. Number two is believe that there are resources available to them. And number three is to learn a few critical thinking strategies that are at the core of every successful and fulfilled person.
Mhm.
So that's where, that's the age group we're going to look at.
Mhm.
That's the problem that we're going to try to solve is, there's been no school created or no curriculum created for this generation, this younger generation of the smartphone generation, if you will.
Yeah.
They're experiencing a whole new world,
Mhm.
right? And we need them to be at their best. And the only way to be at their best is to give them the teachings of Acres of Diamonds, to give them the confidence to be at their best.
Yes.
So, that's my vision. That's what I want to do.
Yes, and to your point, to narrowing it to that type of niche, we could say, I have personally had conversations with most of my friends who are in that type of that niche right there, that market, and just talking to them about, what are the next steps of your lives or of your lives, and how are you going to get there? How do you feel right now? Do you feel stuck? Do we feel like I'm making measurable progress over reasonable time? And I think it is a stress and a that fear, that uncertainty and doubt that's in all of us of this age. I mean, there's nothing like graduating from college and saying, all right, I gotta figure this stuff out, or not deciding not to go to college and maybe doing a trade or doing another path. So, there's definitely stresses and anxieties that we have to face, that Acres of Diamonds is that outlet to talk about it, to figure it out, to have the opportunity to say, hey, I wasn't sure what to do here, and I'm not sure what to do in 2-3 months. I need a little bit of direction. I know that I can do this. I just need a little bit of direction and a little bit of help, some good critical thinking skills that have been proven to help people find where they want to go.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's not. Again, we're not necessarily going to make anybody smarter, but the questions that we put together
Yep.
will cause the students and the clients to dig deeper into who they are.
Yes.
Who they are now, who they were, and who they want to be. Right. So, it's just so rewarding,
Mhm.
so rewarding to see people kind of have that epiphany of, man, I do have what it takes.
Mhm.
I do have what it takes. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world says or thinks about me.
Yep.
I do have what it takes. And we've seen it over and over and over again. Right.
Mhm.
It's just, it's really been wonderful so far. And
That's the piece that I think we reach for. I think that's the piece that, because I mean, to all of the Acres of Diamonds community, the questions that we have come up with, those took us about maybe 5 to 6 months to actually narrow down the questions. And I guarantee as time goes on, we will change them and alter them
yeah.
to even have more of a certain point hit on that question, because there's nothing like asking somebody, who are you? What do you see when you look in the mirror? I mean, people can give quick answers, but if I was to say, who are you, and you have 5 minutes to think about this and give me a good answer,
Well, I tell you what, to your point about changing the questions, I went through an exercise in one of my executive sessions recently that the question was, or that finished this statement: I am of. So I am of my grandparents. I am of my parents, and it just walks you through a really emotional connection to,
yeah, yeah.
that's basically, that's why the tattoos you have are reflective of I am of, right? right? That is your testament to your parents and grandparents. And it's so yeah, I think we will change the questions. But yeah, I think we're just getting started as far as the type of curriculum we're going to offer.
Yes, I completely agree. And we have what are we thinking about doing too? Some kind of some webinars and some
Yeah, so I mean, we started with some one-on-ones. Basically, we'd do free one-on-ones for a while, and then that was kind of our proof of concept. And then we got a little bold, and we sent DJ out on the road, and DJ started charging for his services, and then we did some free group stuff. We did some free group coaching in Greece, and again had very, very measurable impact on the customers there. So we're going to blow that up a little bit. We're going to continue the one-on-ones, albeit maybe fewer of them, and we're going to start doing. Especially in the COVID time, we're going to do online group coaching. So let's say half of the session would be teaching in the front end, and then the second half of the session would be a group coaching where you get to hear the coach and the student or client process an issue, and so the other people on the call get the benefit of hearing it, so they can learn regardless of whether or not they ask a question or whether they ask for some insight and perspective. And then we're also going to we'll put some seminars in place, not sure exactly where and when, but weekend seminars we're going to do. And we'll also have some webinars that we put in place, and some do-it-yourself online learning. So we're going to follow a model that a lot of the personal development people follow, but in a very specific Acres of Diamonds niche.
Yeah, throw our little Acres of Diamonds spin on it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's going to be about. It's it's going to be really, really focused on helping people understand that they help them remember.
Yes.
Help them remember the way they felt when they were children, right? When they knew they could be president, when they knew they could be a fireman, when they knew they could be an astronaut, whatever it was, right?
Yep.
Put them back in touch with that inspiration.
Yes.
And that belief.
I completely agree. And to anybody watching, right now, you can do it. You can do it 100%, and you can do it by thinking about the questions that we eventually will ask you, because it'll make you dig deeper than you may have ever dug before, and you'll find those diamonds, and it's very rewarding, and you'll think completely differently than you ever have before. So I'm excited. I'm as excited as I could be to get this stuff going.
Yeah, me too. Well, thank you, DJ. Appreciate the question.
Yes, thank you.
Talk to you later.
I will see you.